Hi, my name is Natalia. I'm 31, the reliable one. The daughter who pays her bills, shows up early, never asks for help. My sister Vanessa, 26, still at home, always chasing the next huge idea. Last weekend, she smiled at me across the pool. That smile still makes my skin crawl. A minute later, my $3,500 work laptop hit the water with a hollow splash. I pulled it out, dripping, lifeless, while she smirked. Relax, it's just a laptop. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't about technology. It was war. But that was only her opening move. Growing up, I was the quiet one, the steady one. If something broke, I fixed it. If bills were late, I covered them. If anyone in the family needed a ride, a favor, a late-night bailout, I showed up. Vanessa never had to. She was the golden child, the one everyone excused. She's just finding herself, Mom would say while writing another check. Dad would shrug, smile, and pour more wine. By the time she was 26, she'd burned through 3 failed businesses, 2 short-lived, boyfriends who paid her rent, and 1 credit card she secretly opened under my name. When I confronted her back then, she laughed. It's only money. You're good with numbers. You'll figure it out. And my parents? They told me not to embarrass her with questions. That night by the pool, nothing had changed. Vanessa smirked. Mom appeared with her glass, sided with her instantly, voice dripping with exasperation at me, not at her. Natalia, it was obviously an accident. Don't make a scene. My laptop dripped in my hands like a dying animal, but apparently my grief was more offensive than her sabotage. I scanned the patio. Dad was nowhere in sight. Uncles laughed. Cousins clinked glasses. Not one pair of eyes looked at me, at the ruin in my arms. I was invisible in a family that only saw her. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about a computer. It was about a pattern. Years of being the reliable one, the quiet one, the one they expected to absorb every blow without complaint. I should have screamed. Instead, I smiled. I nodded to the chatter around me like nothing had happened. And in that silence, something inside me shifted. It was colder than anger, heavier than rage. I carried that feeling home with me, heavier than the soaked laptop in my bag, and I set it down on my counter. I knew one truth. If I didn't change the script, no one ever would. And so quietly I started writing a new script. That night, I didn't rant. I didn't cry. I made tea, sat at my counter, the ruined laptop wrapped in a towel beside me. I opened my backup computer instead. One by one, I began closing doors. Netflix, signed out of all devices. Amazon Prime, new, password. Apple Music, Hulu, Spotify, all locked. The shared Apple ID, gone in minutes. Every click felt like pulling weeds from a garden. Years of resentment, quietly deleted with each new password. Vanessa had lived on my accounts. For so long, she thought they were hers. By dawn, 13 accounts were sealed tight. I leaned back in my chair, fingers stiff, chest lighter. This wasn't revenge. Not yet. This was insurance. My first quiet step toward control. At 6:15 a.m., my phone buzzed. Vanessa. Her text was pure entitlement. Why can't I log into Netflix? Amazon's not working either. Did you change the passwords? I sipped my coffee before replying. Yeah. Along with Hulu, Apple, Spotify, you don't pay for them, so you don't use them. Read. No response. Only silence. 15 minutes later, Mom called. No hello. Just, Natalia, Vanessa says you've locked her out of everything. That's petty. That's boundaries, I said evenly. She made a mistake. It was an accident. You're her sister. You should help, not punish. I let the silence stretch. Mom huffed, muttered, about me being dramatic, and hung up. The flood began. Group texts, guilt trips, posts, on Instagram. Vanessa captioned a selfie. Some people let money turn them cold. Aunts chimed in. She's always been like that. Not one message asked for my side, not one. The script was set. Vanessa the victim. Me, the villain. I stared at the wall, phone buzzing, like a grenade ready to explode. But instead of exploding, I went still. I pulled a notebook from the drawer and began writing. Dates, receipts, screenshots. Every accident Vanessa had ever left in her wake. The credit card charges she swore were mine. The wine-stained dress she returned to my closet. The time she used my professional photo on, a resume to land a meeting she didn't deserve. Line by line, page by page, I built something. Not revenge. A record. A story no one in my family had ever bothered to read. And this time, I was the narrator. And then came the rumor that changed everything. The rumor reached me at brunch, over half-burnt toast and cold coffee. A friend of a friend leaned in, voice lowered like it was gossip. Vanessa says, "You're her silent partner in this new venture." My fork froze midair. Partner? Mentor? Investor? I hadn't given her a dime, let alone my name. But apparently she'd been telling people she had my full support. The kind that opens wallets fast. It took everything not to laugh right there. She thought using me as cover would work. But when I got home, I started digging. LinkedIn, Instagram, even her old dusty blog. And then I found it. A blurry photo of her. Work setup. My old company logo glowing. On the screen like a neon sign. Sloppy Vanessa. Careless enough to leave a trail. I reached out to an old client. Just casual. If you ever hear my name linked to a key company I'm not part of, let me know. His reply came within the hour. Funny you should say that. Attached was a pitch deck Vanessa had sent an investor. And there it was, bold and undeniable. Advisors. Natalia S., marketing consultant. My LinkedIn link sat beneath it like a stamp of approval. My stomach dropped, then twisted, into something sharper. Rage, yes, but also a strange satisfaction. She'd given me the rope. I stared at the PDF glowing on my screen. This wasn't just fraud. This was identity theft. A weapon with my name engraved on the blade. She had handed me evidence, gift-wrapped. Still, I didn't strike. Not yet. In war, timing is everything. I wanted more. An airtight case. No crocodile tears could wash away. So I started collecting. Harder this time. Screenshots of her bragging, "Big sis has my back." Emails from investors who thought I was involved. Chats where she admitted destroying my laptop. To teach me a lesson. Every piece went in. Within days, the binder was thick, snapping shut, with a satisfying click. This wasn't a diary anymore. It was a loaded gun, every page a bullet, and Vanessa was standing in the line of fire. Then came the final confirmation. A call from Mr. Carson, an old family friend. His firm had been approached by Vanessa. When he saw my name on the pitch, he checked with me. That sealed it. Proof stacked on proof. Fraud, motive, property damage, misrepresentation. Not rumors, not family drama. Evidence that could stand in a courtroom or sink her dreams. I closed the binder, palms steady. For the first time, I wasn't the one on defense. I was holding the high truth, sharp enough to cut through every lie my family had ever believed. And when I finally pulled the trigger, it was silent. The binder was heavy in my hands, but the weight felt good. It wasn't guilt, was power. Years of silence hardened into proof no one could argue with anymore. Step 1. Precision strike. I scanned the entire binder, bookmarked each section, and sent it to Ethan, my lawyer friend. Within 24 hours, a cease and desist letter was drafted. I winced reading it. Cold, clinical, devastating. We sent it to Vanessa, her partner, and good measure CC'd my parents. I didn't call, didn't text. I let the silence do its work. The response was instant. First came outrage. "You're ruining everything. I thought you wanted me to succeed." Then the guilt trip. "You're my sister. How could you do this to me?" And finally, the threats. "When I make it big, you'll regret this." But I gave her nothing. Ethan had warned me, the fastest way to rattle her was to stay quiet. So I did. Step 2. Exposure. Every investor she'd pitched received the same binder. No emotional outbursts. Just a note. To clarify, I am not involved in this venture and do not endorse it in any way. By the end of the week, her business partner walked away. Friends who hyped her stopped, tagging her. Even the aunts who once defended her fell silent. The ground shifted beneath her. Step 3. The family reveal. I printed a condensed binder, mailed it to my parents. With a single sticky note, "Thought you should see the whole story." No reply needed. 2 days of silence. Then my aunt called, unable to resist the drama. She whispered, like it was classified. Dad had gone through each page with Vanessa in the living room. He asked questions she couldn't answer. She tried the script. It was an accident. She's twisting things. I didn't mean it. But this time, no one swooped in to save her. My father finally looked at her and said, words I'd never imagined. Pack your things. No more handouts, no more chances, go. And my mother stayed silent, lips pressed thin. The cycle cracked. For the first time, Vanessa stood alone, stripped of excuses, the binder spread open on the table like a mirror she couldn't smash. The silence was deafening. Step 4. The quiet victory. I posted a photo of my new workspace. Sunlight over a sleek, new laptop, fresh contract signed, the retainer. A loan worth more than her $29,000 a dream. I didn't flaunt, I didn't gloat, but I knew she saw it. And I wanted her to understand. She hadn't destroyed me. She'd propelled me further than she could ever imagine. But the final blow wasn't mine to deliver. It's been 6 months since Vanessa walked out of my parents' house with 2 suitcases and no plan. We haven't spoken once. Mom sends the occasional holiday text, short, polite, stripped of guilt. Dad's messages are even shorter. Hope you're well. And that's it. The endless lectures about family sticking together have vanished. In their place is silence, uneasy, heavy, but strangely peaceful. My business is stronger than ever. The new laptop has already paid for itself twice over. And my boundaries? They've become walls. No one crosses them without earning the right. The binder still sits on my shelf, not a weapon, but as a reminder, I chose me. Because boundaries aren't built in one dramatic showdown. They're built in 100 small decisions to stop being everyone's safety net. I saw Vanessa once outside a coffee shop. Her hair unbrushed, hoodie wrinkled, eyes empty. For the first time, there was no smirk. She glanced at me, then looked away. No words, no venom, just the weight of consequences she couldn't escape anymore. I kept walking. Justice wasn't mine to carry. She'd destroyed herself one choice at a time. All I did was stop shielding her from it. And in that choice, I finally found freedom. Freedom from being the reliable one everyone leaned on until I broke. Freedom to breathe. So if you've ever had to draw a line with family, know this, you're not alone. Sometimes the strongest love is saying enough. Have you ever had to choose yourself over family? Wherever you're watching from, morning coffee or late night quiet, I'd like to hear your story in the comments. And if this one stayed with you, subscribe to join a community that believes strength isn't silence. It's knowing when to speak.